I don't have to see my face. All right. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, sorry guys. Excuse me. Smile. Be updated a lot. So I had to grab the laptop.
And then you want to do an intro, and I'll pick it up. So you
can't tell what I'm doing.
No. Flip it around. Like flip it so you see the camera. Do you know what I mean? Forward facing.
I don't think you.
Oh, you're on.
I'm on the laptop, not the iPad.
No, you're not on it. Okay. All right. So just you slowly hold it up. Hold it up. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I can't tell if you can see the audience or not. Let me see.
All right. Well, we're officially 4 minutes into noon. So
the timer.
We're starting it right now. Welcome to the 4th annual Read Around the Clock. We have our very first reader, Katie. Who's with you, Katie?
Say hi.
Okay. All righty.
Ready? Starting. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so our first book is Those Darn Squirrels by Adam Rubin, illustrated by Daniel Salmieri. You can hear me? Okay, yeah. Huge crowd. On the outskirts of town, at the edge of the forest, there was a little house. The only thing older than the little house was the man who lived in it, Old Man Fuqua. Fuqua was so old that when he sneezed, dust came out. He was rump. He hated pie. He hated puppies. The only thing he all summer long, the old man painted pictures of the birds that visited. There were whirly birds and bonga birds, baba birds and yaba birds. Google bird came by once or twice. Fuqua's paintings weren't sneezing dust, but the birds never said anything. When the leaves began to change color, the old man grew sad. He knew that would fly south for winter as they did every year, and that he would be lonely. He had an idea. If he fed the birds, maybe they would stick around. Old Man Fuqua built beautiful bird feeders and put them up all around his back. He filled the feeders with delicious seeds and berries, and soon birds came to the forest just to eat in the old man's backyard. But the birds weren't the only ones who ate feeders. The squirrels did too. Not many people know this, but squirrels are the cleverest of all woodland creatures. In fact, they're fuzzy little geniuses. Squirrels. They can make a house out of a tree, a bed out of a bunch of leaves, a kite out of twigs, dirt, and squirrel spit. They are also excellent at. Did you know they're good at math? Who knew? Winter was fast approaching and to gather as much food as they could get ready. So they decided to take some of the bird food. were not happy. Neither was Old Man Fookwire. When he discovered what had happened, his old man fist and yelled, "Those darn squirrels! Squirrels are eating the food." He filled again, but this time he hung them from a clothesline. Then he went back inside, no longer be able to get the seeds and berries, but the squirrels were determined to plan, and this time they took all the food from the bird feeders. The bird says, "Harumph, harumph, harumph," yelled a bonga bird. "Those darn squirrels," yelled Orange. Said the squirrels. He went to get supplies. He bought lasers and clamps. He bought wires and springs, all sorts of tools, and built a veritable fortress around his bird feeders. He filled them very carefully. "Na, na, na, na," snorted the flugel bird. Now they're teasing the squirrels. The squirrels stayed up all night working out their strategy. They drank cherry salt and vinegar chip to help them stay awake. Finally, they had it. The perfect. Yeah, it's got a helmet. They put on their tiny helmets and prepared to launch them air over the fence between the lasers and onto the bird feeders. Those are some crazy squirrels. The first squirrel misfired and hit a. The second squirrel went too high and landed in a bucket. The third squirrel sailed house. The birds laughed and laughed. They each had one last delicious mouthful of space from the old man's feeders. Then they flew south for the winter, just as they did. "Dibbits," said the flugel bird. After the birds left, Old Man Fugly, just as he was every year. He fixed cheese and pepper, his favorite snack, but he was still lonely. When the squirrels could tell he wasn't happy. "Go away," shouted the old man. "Like you squirrels." The squirrels held a meeting deep inside a large tree. They decided to plan a present to make up for taking the seeds and berries. Now, not many people know squirrels are not only fuzzy little geniuses, they also collect just about anything on the ground. These squirrels had a vast stockpile of spectacular to choose from. But what would Fookwire like? Bottle caps, popsicle caps. Finally, they had it. The perfect gift. What do you think? The squirrels stacked all on Old Man Fookwire's doorstep. There were dimes and pennies. There were even a few tokens from Coco's arcade. It all added up to $4.36, plus a few rounds of skee ball. "Maybe you bad," Fookwire said when he found the coins, "but I still like birds better." This was another idea. They raided their junk collection again and got to work. When the next morning, he was amazed to see what the birds had returned. Oops, sorry. But those things weren't birds. They were squirrels in disguise. "Great googly man Fookwire. This will make quite a painting." He ran outside and took down the wires and the spring-loaded trapeze. He turned all the bird feeders into squirrel feeders, and he painted till his brush ran out of bristles. The squirrels were so overjoyed they had a party in Fookwire's house. "Those darn squirrels," said Fookwire, and he shook his old and smiled. The end. Okay. We're a moose by Willis Root, illustrated by Randy Cecil. You're gonna help me turn pages. Good job. Have you ever seen a moose? A long, leggy moose? A branchy, dinner diving, bulgy nose moose? No, we've never, ever, ever, ever seen a moose, and we really, 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 really want to see a moose. Look for a moose. Let's go! On our hats, we pull on our boots. We look in the woods, stomp, tromp, stomp, the treesy, breezy, tilty, stilty, wobbly